I'm Daniel, and this is my wife, Michelle. We're a family in mission. We're here in Honduras with our 7 children, and we've been serving with the Missionaries of Christ about 2.5 years. We first came here when we were first married, almost 20 years ago, but we discerned just a few years ago to come back with all of our children and to leave our homestead in Texas and come here to serve with the Missionaries of Christ.
Yeah, so we lived here for 5.5 years when we were first, or we lived a family in mission for 5.5 years when we were first married. We served with the Franciscan Friars of the Renewal, who have a friary right nearby. And we, so like right after we got married, we came down. Our first child, Juan Pablo, was born here in Honduras.
So Honduras and the mission here had been a part of our family from the beginning, but there was a specific moment when I really felt that the Holy Spirit called us back to mission. And it was in the end of 2019 when there was a change it began in my heart, really, a call back to foreign missions. And we were already very active in the church. Of course, we were already living our faith very much. But there was a point when my dreams changed. From all of my interest had previously been about growing my business, about adding something to our home, or making the family grow and thrive, or my business. And then suddenly I was inspired again to look to the poor and how to serve the poor in a particular way. And also to serve internationally, because we already had the experience in Honduras before, and I love Latin America, so I wanted to come back and to serve the poor here in Latin America, and to bring my family with me. I wanted to make sure that my children experienced mission in Honduras, and I wanted to make sure that my children knew what it was to give our lives full-time in service to the poor. So in 2019, we began to discern that in earnest, and it took a while for our family to decide to leave everything. We left, of course, our home, school, our business, and to leave behind what we had in the United States to come here. We began discerning and went on a few short-term mission trips as a family. And at a point, we came to a point where we felt like there was just an open invitation. And if we wanted to try this adventure, it was something that God would bless.
So in July of 2020, in the midst of the pandemic, Carol gave us a call and asked if we would be willing to help them with the construction project. They had received Missionaries of Christ had received a grant to build a physical therapy clinic for the program that was already in existence, and asked if Daniel would be willing to come down and head up that project. So that was definitely like a door flung open for us in our consideration of doing foreign missions. And so Daniel and I came down in September of 2020, and just to see, sort of get a feel for what the neighborhood was like now, since we hadn't been back for 15 years. And just to talk and pray and really just see if God was really leading us here. So we came down, we spent about 10 days and saw the site where the physical therapy building would be. And then really, once that happened, when we went back to Texas and talked with our kids and stuff, we really felt that was where God was leading us to. In February of 21, we moved down and have been here since. So I will say, one thing that about Daniel definitely felt the call first. So a lot of people talk about or think about like discerning missions as a family is not just, it's not the same as like a single person just saying, hey, I want to do missions, I'm going to go. With a family, you're considering everyone. And so I know Daniel felt the call first, but then I was not really open to it at the time. I was like, I have 7 kids, we're homeschooling, I have enough on my plate. I just cannot imagine picking up and leaving right now. So it took a while. I had to really pray about that and just ask the Lord to open my heart to it. And then it's presenting the idea to your children. And we have 3 teenagers, and now we have 4. And so it's like just figuring out, okay, is this really good for them? Is this going to be a good move for them? How are they going to thrive? It's going to be rough, we know that, but at the same time, is it something that is good for their souls? And so it was a process. It was a lot of praying. We did a family retreat. And just was really just asking God to show us, to help us to be sure, and at the same time knowing that it would take coming down here and with everybody, and then if it seemed like it was not good for everybody, just knowing that we could move back, or just feeling like God would lead us, and that we could really trust Him in this.
It was definitely asking a lot of our teenagers, especially to leave behind their friends, the environment that they were comfortable in, and to come to Honduras, which they didn't know, into a new place that they had no connections and don't have as much freedom here, as many resources as we did, of course, in our hometown.
Almost 2 years later, what we've seen, the blessings of God, especially just in our family. Some of the things that we've seen are our children learning a new language is amazing. Like just to see how they can soak it up, and helping them get out of their comfort zones. They a lot just in various ways have blossomed a lot. It's pushed them a lot to do hard things, which is good. We know that to grow in virtue, you've got to go out and try new things. Just really push yourself. So the older children have led missions, or translated on missions, and they've all just had to, we do home visits together as a family or in groups with other missioners. And so it's fun. It's neat to see them being, playing with other kids, talking with the people in the neighborhood, getting to know people. We've seen a lot of fruit for our family.
Well, God is faithful, and so when we are the things that we've sacrificed in order to come as a family, and the things that our children sacrificed in leaving behind their friendships and their hometown, have all been, God repays our sacrifices more than we can imagine. And I've seen our children grow spiritually also, and in maturity, tremendously. Our children, as they get older, of course, they're maturing, but being able to be a translator on a mission team, and being able to even guide, in a sense, like guiding mission teams, for some of my teenagers is a tremendous change. Is a tremendous. They're tremendously stretched by it, but it increases their faith when they go out to share their faith, and that's one of the ways that God is faithful to us is that when we leave where we're comfortable and come with the only reason why we're coming is to serve God. There's not really any other. There may be other secondary motives, but there's really no other reason that would be big enough to leave our hometown and to leave everything that we have there. But when we come out to share our faith, God increases our faith. And I can see my children having grown more confident in being able to share their faith and having grown more confident in God's love for them and God's providence and care for us as a family. And for our whole family to get to really see what it is to get to know the poor and to get to come out of our comfort zone and to serve the poor directly. Because in the United States, we're very isolated from the type of poverty that is here all around us. So our children also think differently now about what it means to be, even just to be a good person, because it's not just isolated within our hometown and where we're comfortable. They see themselves now as being responsible for the poverty that is around the world and being part of a larger community that is the community of the church that extends beyond our little hometown and where we grew up to here also and to people that are really suffering in a variety of ways.